Hey, and welcome back to the B2B Marketing Gap podcast with me, Jade Tambini, aka B2B Jade. I'm so happy that you're here again. We are talking about all things minimalist marketing, all things decluttering marketing, and everyone that I've spoke to so far about this concept for 2026 is feeling quite powerful immediate results because the idea of decluttering almost gives you permission to accept that you've been doing too much. And that is really what I wanted to talk to you about today on the podcast. So whether you're watching, whether you're listening, so you can watch on YouTube, B2B TV, I'm pretty chill. It's mainly a podcast. So I've just thrown my camera on so that if you're visual, if you prefer to watch, you can head over there. But either way, please subscribe to the channel so that you can get updates on my content. We're going to talk about a few different things. I've actually got some notes to make sure I don't miss anything, but I'm going to first start with why we're so stressed at work and what we can do about it. I'm going to talk about what minimalism is and isn't and why it's made me much happier in all areas of life. And then how you can apply that to your marketing to make sure that you are starting as you mean to go on with building a simple strategy. Because my role is that I run B2B Breakthrough Academy. And this is teaching people to build a simple strategy. But actually what needs to happen first is a declutter. It's like looking honestly at everything we're doing. Because I've seen people start the process of building their simple strategy with me inside my program and basically just trying to stuff everything they have into that plan and format it. And I'm like, that's not what it's about. What it's about is looking honestly at everything we're doing, working out what is worth doing, what we physically can do, what budget and resource we're going to be given realistically, and then figuring out, okay, let's just overhaul everything. It feels, when you do this, it does feel very similar to when you declutter your house. So say you've got a room that's just a junk room, and imagine it's just bang, it's just gone, everything's gone. Like someone just picks it all up and takes it away, and you just feel this immediate sense of calm. So let's start with, why are we so stressed at the moment? Why is every B2B marketer just feeling like I'm not doing enough? Well, I really, truly believe that it is because we're doing too much. And the reason we're doing too much is leaders have got this belief that the more places we are, the more likely we are to get seen, to get noticed, and for work to come our way. But actually, what I found over the years is that the opposite is true. If you are resourced in order to do millions of things, like maybe big consumer brands, wow, I'm quite trapped behind my microphone. Just going to move out of it. If you've got huge resources like a big consumer brand might, then maybe you are going to be able to test out different things, try different things, have your core activities, and then think, okay, let's try something different. Let's have part of our team, test over here. The problem is B2B marketing companies who've got small marketing teams feel like they can do the same thing. So they'll be like, here's £1,000 to try out LinkedIn ads, do some LinkedIn ads. And then you do a campaign, don't get a huge amount of results. And then it's like, oh, we tried that. It doesn't work. Let's do something else. Let's do something else. Let's do something else. And so what ends up happening is you're just jumping around doing loads of different things and none of it's actually sticking. So my mantra, what I do for marketers, my service to you, is to help you simplify it right back and go, what are those one or two things that I have tried to get off the ground in the past, that I have tried to make work, that really could have taken off if we'd given them the time and energy they needed? What could we have done there? If we didn't muddy the water with millions of different tasks and activities. So your leaders are probably giving you goals that are related to business growth, maybe improving customer retention, maybe increasing profitability, making the business function better in line with whatever their goals are. And so you're tasked with that stuff. And okay, right, that's what I've got to achieve in this quarter. And when I spell this out to you, by the way, you're going to be quite blown away because you'll be like, oh yeah, that makes no sense. Why am I doing this? So what you probably find is they give you all these goals and then they're like, okay, now I just need you to do this. Now I just need you to organize this event. Now I just need you to that. Now, and they think that by them giving you those tasks, they're going to connect with you achieving those goals. They don't realize that leaving you alone to build a simple plan and being left to it and being able to actually deliver on it, even if that does include many of the ideas they've put forward, but by you being strategic and not reactive, that's what would get them those results. But because they don't leave you to do that, they then at the end of the quarter go, where's the result? And you're like, I've been busy doing all the stuff that you told me. So I will quote a TikTok I did yesterday, like, in what world would you working on a random bunch of stuff that you've been assigned when really what you need to be doing is working on what's the best way of achieving this goal you've given me? In what world would you get results for the goal stuff when you haven't been working on any of the things that lead to that goal? And I think because leaders and colleagues think they understand marketing, they think things happen quickly, they don't see the problem with just pivoting between different things all the time. So like a good example of this is I recently hosted a free January marketing reset masterclass. If you were there, thank you. Like, it was so fun. If you want the replay, just DM me anywhere and I will send you the replay. You can email me on my website or message me on LinkedIn, wherever, TikTok. I will send you the replay because the masterclass was amazing. But the point is, there were 500 people signed up to it and I didn't spend a penny on ads. I just promoted it for 6 weeks and got 500 people to join it. And what I know is that if I had given up on platforms like, and look, social media content is a big one for me. That's obviously very tactical. It's going to be different for everyone. But if I'm not consistent with how I use my main marketing tools, they're not going to drive results. But if I just keep going at the same thing consistently over and over, making sure the message is spot on, using the tool to its full potential, as opposed to like, oh, quickly chuck that on LinkedIn, quickly chuck that on there, quickly schedule an email campaign, quickly do some ads, quickly do an event, quickly. Like, if everything's quickly, you're not going to see any of them take off. And you'll go, oh, I only got 7 likes on a LinkedIn post. And how many times did you post? Oh, twice a month. Yeah, obviously not. I mean, I saw a guy who was posting 8 times a day on LinkedIn and was achieving like 10 million impressions per month and getting really incredible results from it. That is showing like a determination and a consistency. I guarantee as a one-person business, he wasn't doing 15 other techniques. So with my masterclass being a good example, is I was just dedicated to one simple nurture flow, which was post on LinkedIn, talk about it on the podcast. The aim is to have the podcast published every week. Had a bit of a busy time with my kids being off school for 3 weeks for the school holidays at Christmas and things. But the goal is once a week consistency to post on the podcast for you guys. So hopefully stick into that now, and posting once to twice per day on LinkedIn, always giving something super value to the audience and telling them if they'd like more. There's this reset class. When they sign up for the reset class, I did the same on TikTok, though I'm more active on LinkedIn now. When they sign up, they get an email and then they get a few emails encouraging them as to why they should go. And then after that mindset class, they were invited to an exclusive VIP Q&A with me. And I also, something I'd never done before, is I was like, do you know what? I'm going to give them access to module 1 of my video training course that teaches them how to build a simple marketing strategy and all the mindset stuff. So I'm just going to give them module 1 to play around with and just to see what it's like in there, experience a live Q&A with me, experience my community. And so like this week and next week will be so fun because I can see, did people find this experience valuable, going from the reset class through to having a bit of a live session with me where 1-to-1 they could really voice what's going on for them. Such an incredible meetup that we had with those guys. Thanks for coming. And then, okay, they're trialing out the product and they're going to see how it works for them. And I'll be so interested to see now, okay, so what were the business metrics? Like, I don't want, I'm my own CEO. I don't want to be like, oh my gosh, we got 10,000 impressions on a LinkedIn post. It's like, so did we get customers? So the scorecard metrics would be, we did this campaign. We started January the 13th with a reset class. We began promoting it in late November. And then here's how that funnel tracked through. And here's the volume of new members that we attracted. And then I can be like, that's not as high converting as I thought. Like, why? And then I can track backwards, be like, what was the theme in the masterclass? It was very mindset focused. Do mindset focused people not want to pay for stuff? Did I position it wrong? Why? Do I need to give people longer to get budget from their boss? Did I target the wrong people? Did I bring in the wrong people with my messaging? People who are like really down and out in their marketing, so they therefore have zero budget, and so they wouldn't be an ideal fit for my program. I can drill into that much detail. I can look at every single individual email open rate, click-through rate. What did people do? I can reach out to the people and say like, hey, like, what did you think? Did you enjoy the taster? Like, why haven't you joined? Like, do you want to join? Oh yeah, I'd love to, but it's going to be in 3 months. We've got a new budget coming out that literally happened today. I was in contact with someone. They were like, oh, I so want to join, but the budget doesn't come out until April. So I'm going to have to join then. So that, by me having the time and space to give that funnel and that one simple approach to get in front of my audience and get them to decide for themselves if this is going to be something valuable for them to join B2B Breakthrough Academy and educate them on where it would be beneficial, I think is such good learning material for me to then be able to go through that simple process. But if I'm doing ads, SEO, PR, blah, 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 events, everything, I am one person. And now you might be in a small marketing team where you're only 5 people or 3 people, and you're like to the same kind of scale. Like, you've got to deal with salespeople. I'm the salesperson. I don't have to deal with salespeople. So you have to find the answer for you. Like, what does minimalist marketing look like for you? Now, I've gone off on a tangent, so let's go back to what we're going to talk about. So why are we all so stressed in work? We're so stressed because what is expected of us and the resources that we have to deliver upon them are misaligned. So you're expected to get results, but you don't have the budget that would give results, and you don't have the resource, like a big team behind you, and you're only one person managing the marketing. Budget is huge as well in all of this, because people don't realize that a lot of the things they're doing in-house, they should be sending out to experts to outsource. So the reason that you're not outsourcing things is that the budget doesn't match what it needs to for the company of the size you're in. So I think I was talking to someone yesterday inside our mentoring call today about budgets and about module 2 and how, when you set up your budget, one of our past students from a while ago was telling me about how when she said to her CEO, companies like us will be spending about this much. We're currently spending this much. And as percentage of sales revenue, that's quite low. So that CEO didn't immediately go, oh, amazing, I'm going to give you 5 times more budget. But that CEO was able to see, oh, right, we are pretty below where we should be. And so when you don't have the budget that you need, it's not only about having creative spend, ad spend. It's about being able to outsource to experts to do a lot of the things that you shouldn't be doing yourself, because your job is to tweak, analyze, test, focus on that one central strategy. And if you're not able to outsource things, you're not really going to be able to get much done. And so why is doing more? So yeah, I put a note here that like, why doing more isn't what we think. And I touched on it earlier, but the less we do, the more impactful it's going to be. And look, in 2010, when I was really getting started in marketing, after a couple of years in sales, cold calling on the phones, this is why I'm so focused on like, what's the scorecard? Like what? So I don't want to use jargon with you. When I say what's the scorecard, I mean, what actual business difference are we making? Because obviously when I was in cold calling, I just had to get customers, I had to get revenue, like I had to get sales rather. I had to get, close people, had to get demos. How many demos have you done today? I've done 4 demos, I've done 2 sales. Like that was what I was targeted on. So when I moved into marketing, I just got it. I knew like everything we do needs to be about like, what are we going for? Now, it's not always leads, because when I worked in a call center, my goal was, we've got customers leaving us because our service is not great. I need you to be really good at looking after these people so that they won't leave us. So I knew then my job is, okay, these people are not happy with us. So I would be super helpful, super efficient. Although, like, side note, when I worked in call centers, I got in trouble because like we had a call resolution target of like maybe a minute, and people's numbers would be on the board. Like I was resolving all of my cases, but because I like to have a chat, my call resolution time was huge. And I was like, I was adding value to them. I was like talking to them about their day. I was like an old lady. I was talking to her about a dog. Like, give me a break. I was also really not very good at the systems. So that was a bit into it as well. I'm not really like a detailed system person. I find it really hard. I just want to talk to people and help people. So yeah, why doing more isn't what we think. Need to stop going off on tangents. Is we believe that spreading ourselves, like if you actually think about it, how can spreading yourself thinner be more effective? How? You only have to think about hobbies and sports. If you really want to get into something and get good at it, you don't just do it once every month and then do a million of other things as well. Okay, so let me just dip into the topic of the video. Like 2026 is about minimalist marketing and the future of marketing. So let me tell you for a minute about minimalism. So this is something that if you know me in real life, like if you were like, oh my gosh, talk to me about minimalism, I could talk to you for so long. If I had time, I would literally minimalize your entire life. I would come to your house with you and we would do this. Okay. So I started my minimalism journey, and this is going to be related to marketing, don't worry. I started my minimalism journey in about, what year was it? Like 2022, when my second kid was born, because I was so overwhelmed. I had two kids, and all of a sudden an influx of just stuff had come into our life. When you have a baby, you just have millions of things bought for you. I'd also been just buying for years, and I don't want to get too like heavy on consumerism, but when you really look at why our houses are full of so much stuff, you can always connect it back to consumerism. I mean, my father-in-law is 82, and he had like a toy when he was a little boy, a toy, and he loved it so much. And if it broke, it got fixed. He lived on like a farm in Italy, not a farm, like in a village, with a bit of grass outside, and his mum, they didn't have much in the house because there was not this consumerism society. So clutter wasn't really a thing. But then even that age group have grown up, they end up in a bigger house maybe, and then they fill it. And I think what's happened is, as humans, because of all the marketing messages everywhere saying, oh, this need that you have will be solved if you buy this need will be solved, this need, even to the point where like we're sold things to make us get decluttered. So like if you buy all these storage bins and these storage systems, then you'll declutter your life and everything will run more smoothly. But all we're really doing is sorting out our clutter as opposed to just letting it go. So yeah, it's something I've been thinking about loads recently. I'm like, I am a minimalist in real life, and how I run my business is minimalist as well. In that, so what is minimalism? Minimalism is not owning nothing. I have lots of lovely things. I mean, like, look at this plant. My friend brought me this plant the other day when she came to visit me. I'm not like, oh, I'm not having that. It's like, it's pretty, it looks lovely. It's about letting go of the things that are not serving you. So if something is just not doing a job, it's not doing what it should be doing, it's actually making you stress, it's letting those things go. And then that makes room for just having the things that you actually use and add value. So it's the same with your marketing. How can we let go of the things that were sold to us in this consumerist world? Like ideas even like, oh, we should be doing this, we should be doing that. How can we look at everything, all of the clutter that we've generated in our marketing plan, and just strip it all back? And I mean, even as far as like the subscriptions that you've signed up for that are going out of the company bank account that you're not really using. Maybe you've got 3 different video editing tools or 2 different productivity systems set up that you're subscribed to. So a really good place to start with becoming a bit more minimalist and decluttering your marketing is just to make a bit of a list of like, what have we been doing in total? Where's my time going through all your emails, clearing them down. Like I've always been a zero inbox person. Maybe you're like me, like I love a clean, empty inbox. The only emails that will sit there for ages are the ones that are tricky to get done. And I'll think, right, every now and then I'll be like, no, that's not sitting there anymore. I'm either getting rid of it and saying to the person, I'm not going to be doing that, or I eat the frog and I'm like, this is going to take me an hour. Like this is going to be hard and I'm going to do it. So then I end up with that zero inbox because like I get the hard stuff done, or I chuck it away and tell the person that's not happening. There's no room for this. And so like I wanted to take you back to when I started in marketing, because I think we can learn a lot, and it just really highlights this need to declutter your marketing. And like I was feeling nervous about talking about to everyone about minimalism in marketing and decluttering. But honestly, in my group mentoring call today with the students of B2B Breakthrough Academy, so many of them were telling me that like decluttering both their mindset and their activity list has radically improved not just their job but their home life, because they're not going home fried. They're a bit more able to, like, one of the members today was saying, someone came over to me and was like, can you take this on? And she was able to, with the mindset tools that she'd used, really professionally explain to them why she wasn't able to do that for them, why it wasn't a priority, and why, it just wasn't something that was going to happen. And then the business kind of listened to her in that instance, but she has been doing a lot of work to try and make those shifts possible. And so when I started in marketing, so I started in sales in 2006, so it's my 20 years in sales and marketing anniversary. Oh my gosh, in like 2 weeks. Yeah, because I started in a cold calling company. They're called Credit Safe, but my division was called Market Safe, and I started there in February 2006. So it's coming up to 20 years since I first felt extremely passionate about this world, in terms of B2B marketing and data and things like that. So back in 2006, I observed the marketing because I so wanted to be in marketing, and I observed what we would do. So the company would do, the only things they could really choose from back then were, there was a standard like brochure site, like literally just a website that would explain. It was almost like you'd click on a PDF. It was kind of like that. Like, I don't know if we even had an external facing website. I think the website might have just been the tool. Yeah, I don't think there even was a website. Now, if you're a website geek, message me, because would I have had a website in 2006? Anyway, there was definitely a platform where people would buy data credits and download them. So it was pretty advanced for its time. We did cold calling, worked amazingly well because people, like, there wasn't this online thing where you could just go and get information. People weren't really wanting to go to libraries while they're at work. So if we'd cold call and be like, are you looking for some marketing data? We can help you. You'd be more likely to have a chat with someone. We had direct mailing, so literally posting out letters and pretty graphic things like brochures to get people's attention. We had public relations, so getting things written about us, doing editorials, trying to get in the papers, trying to get in the trade magazines, trying to speak at events, things like that. We had events where we'd do exhibitions, have stand for the company. And so, and email marketing as well. So emails were quite good. We would send email campaigns out. And so what I'm getting to is that because it was naturally lean and minimalist, you kind of like, you had to make the most of it. You had to make sure the messaging was impeccable. You had to just spend a load of time. And I remember there'd be in marketing meetings, I used to like push my face up against the glass because my friend Nick was in marketing and I was just so jealous. I just want to be in that room. But I wasn't ready because the MD asked me what ROI was and I said Republic of Ireland. So yeah, he sent me on this course, Chartered Institute of Marketing, and it was all from there that I got into marketing. But I remember watching them and they would have like a full meeting about how to make sure that email landed correctly, the subject was perfect, just really getting into this stuff, like seriously messaging ideal audience, topics, themes, and just making sure that they were impeccable. And what I think is missing like now is that we don't have that time and space to give things the energy that they need. So I'm not saying that we should only use 2006 techniques, because it's obviously 20 years ago. But to be honest with you, if you can just pick your 2 or 3 things and be inspired by that approach in 2006 that we had and just giving your all to those things, then I think that you would be better off. So B2B Breakthrough Academy, like why I built it was to help you get that level of clarity. And then, when we think about things like how AI and new tech folds into our marketing plan, how we can use these for efficiencies, for productivity, then by being leaner in what we're doing overall, we'll have more space to make those things work for us. Because my biggest fear with AI and efficiency tools, in terms of where it is right now, not like the bigger picture, But my biggest fear with things like AI and productivity tools that could genuinely improve and make your business more profitable is that we're just be so busy on the task wheel that we won't have the time to really make these things work. And I know already that many of your leaders are saying like, you need to be using AI. Can't AI just do this? And it's like, but if you haven't got time to set things up properly, it's all a process. Even if you're going to build digital AI employees, I've got AI employees, and it took time to build them, to set them up. And you can't just magic these things. And so if we don't get simple, then we're never going to be able to enjoy that. Okay, so what was I going to talk to you about now? Yeah, so how are you going to go about decluttering your mindset? How are you going to go about decluttering your marketing activity plan? And how are you going to go about building a simple marketing strategy? Well, that is literally why I exist. Like, if you need my help, you can always join B2B Breakthrough Academy. It is an on-demand program with live access to me. So I've had a lot of questions from you guys recently, be like, when's the next start date? Like, okay. So when I have my calls with the students, that is a pretty good time to start. So like, for example, the next call that we're having is February 10th. So in a way, like, now would be a good time for you to join, because you can get settled into B2B Breakthrough Academy ready for that call, or you could join the day before, or you could join the week after and join the next call that we have in February. So it's very much when works for you. So just to clear that up for the questions I've been receiving, everything's on demand. So, you can work through the 6 modules. You can go, I need a simple marketing strategy by April. Like, I'm building it with these resources, with these bite-sized video trainings, with these video lessons teaching me the program, with these templates, making it simple and jargon free. Because like, when I was a marketing manager, I was just like, this is so stressful. Everything I've learned in my CAM and my degree, I'm literally like, I don't know what I'm doing. How do I apply it? So I built what I would have wanted, which is why it's been so transformative for so many people. And Fiona was actually saying today, she was literally like, Jade, like, I've been through the program. It's been a year since I finished it, because she was one of my first. And she's like, it is so transformative on so many levels, because not only is my mindset changed, I can handle people and things. Like, for example, there was a sales leader being horrible to her, and she's like, what would Jade say? Like, be kind, because they're going through something I don't understand. And that doesn't mean be floppy, but let's meet them where they are and work through this. And then she's getting better results with people. But she's also now gone out consulting, and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so strategic. I didn't realize how people just don't have a process and they're just winging it. And she just had these realizations of like, learning a simple process to build a simple marketing strategy that works, having the mindset to get people on board, get budget, get buy-in, and stop people messing about. And then third, just getting in the zone as well, like reconnecting with your passion for it, because we've lost that because we've been so busy. We've just been running around that we've forgotten about that awesome creativity within us and problem solving ability. And that is what marketing is. So you want to think about part 1 being your marketing review. Like I said, I've trialed giving away part 1 of my marketing strategy program. If you want to see it, just drop me a message. Like, I'd be interested in how appealing that sounds to you to actually try module 1 out of the 6. I think people realize, whoa, this is way more in depth than I realized, and the learning is so much more on the ground. So in a simple strategy, you have to be clear about what the actual business challenge is. That's the biggest one people get wrong. And so if you can be clear about what is actually going on in this company, like why is what it wants to happen not happening? Is there like systems and process missing? Are we not close enough to customers to understand what they want? Is our pricing out and that's why we're losing competitors? Or is our pricing right, but our messaging is not reflecting why it would be dangerous to go with a cheaper option over us? Because actually they always end up coming back to us saying that didn't work. Like, can you help me untangle this mess? How do we educate them that, okay, we are more expensive, but you'd be better off coming here. Here's the reasons why. And so it's all of that stuff, like figuring out what is it that the business needs from you. Because I talk about this a lot. Like, once I did an SEO piece of work, it was literally like 2011 or something. Yeah, 2011. I did a bit of work on a website in a company I was working on. I was in-house marketing manager, and I'd like tripled the traffic to the website quite quickly. got loads and loads of forms completed, loads of leads, people asking for quotes. And I was so happy with myself. And it was good because, I mean, SEO was very new back then. It's a very different beast now. You could just get a website to rank really well, really quickly back then. And so like got loads of leads, and then the business were like, these leads are junk. Like they're not our target audience at all. We just need 3 new customers who are like 6-figure spenders in the next 6 months. And also we're losing customers, we're losing bids in the later stages of the procurement process. So we need help there. So as I learned and developed and progressed, I was like, right, okay. So we did a big piece on brand positioning and like, okay, so we're up against these massive waste management companies. So we were tendering for big waste management contracts, but we were from a recycling background, and our competitors from landfill background, which is where you just trash all the waste rather than recycling it. So these companies did recycle, and we had to send things to landfill. Like everyone worked together. And, you know, rather than me getting obsessed with bringing in all these little piddly, you know, corner shop leads, they needed people like big retailers, like where we all do our fancy shop. And so basically 3 or 4 years later, once I got more and more strategic, it was like it all came about that we'd built this pipeline through, we'd done some event marketing, we'd coordinated that with building some really good content that we then sent out to our lists. We built an amazing industry report that was truly exciting to our audience. And we hired a company called Raconteur to do that. They do a lot of the supplements inside the Times and things like that. So they're very, very well networked. And so this piece had loads of big retailers talking about the topics that we were pushing. So we got loads of downloads for that. Then people would go through the pipeline. I was like, look, the pipeline's worth, I don't know how many million. We expect to close this amount. We were very focused. And then, but what really did it with our marketing overall, and my boss was hugely responsible for all of this, like, is we were able to clearly position, like, the goal of these big retailers was to achieve zero waste. And we basically said to them in the boardrooms at the end, the salespeople, this is what we equipped them with. This was the messaging we equipped them with, because they were just selling on like, oh, I know we're smaller than those big waste management companies, but we can handle this. Like, trust us, give us a shot. Like, we're smaller, but we care about you. And it was like, that's not it. That's not it. The message is, if you want to achieve zero landfill by 20 whatever, are you going to choose the biggest landfill operator to do that? Or are you going to choose the biggest recycler to do that? And it was like a no-brainer. And we were more expensive by quite a lot. And they were like, we're going to align with you guys. And so that's what I mean about that process of figuring out, what does your company actually need from you? Now, I'm going to briefly touch on declutter your mindset before I go. Okay, you need to declutter your mindset as well. There are a lot of limiting beliefs in there. There are a lot of self-berating beliefs in there as well. So the first thing, like, we do loads of this inside the program, but just so that we're giving you something here, because it doesn't matter if you never join that. Like, I just want you to see that you are way more than your job. It's just such a small part of who you are. Like, I have so much respect for stay-at-home parents, for people who dedicate their life to taking care of an elderly relative, for people who've got a passion like an allotment or music, like classical music, or like reading all the time. I don't know, anything. Doing well in your job is just one part of you. And I'm not saying to let go of your fight to do well, but just try and take a deep breath and see that you're so much more than your job, okay? And so even if you do fail at your job, doesn't take away from your worth whatsoever. So just keep that in mind. Declutter your mind of any unhelpful blockers. You'll actually become a better marketer if you're happier. Okay. And the last one I'll leave you with is move from I to we. I talk about this all the time. Stop saying, I need more budget. If I don't get budget, if I don't get the support that I need, I haven't got this. You become a victim in your company. What I want you to do is become a little bit more like a finance director and be more like, okay, if we don't change something, we will continue to get the same results we've always got. And that is literally the definition of insanity. So let's change something, okay? This is not going to work. Okay, you want growth, but we're not resourcing marketing that way. So we're going to be sales support unless something changes. So again, mindset shift, but not fluffy mindset, like you're changing your behavior as a result of not internalizing when your company won't fund something or won't get behind something. So If you enjoyed this episode and you want to get started on something simple and low key, I think you should go to the link that I've put in the show notes of the YouTube video or the show notes of the podcast, or you can find it in any of my links. I want you to take my B2B strategy scorecard. It's 17 questions. You just answer them honestly. There's no judgment. No one else sees your answers. If I wanted to look into your report, I can, but only to help you. And it's going to generate a report telling you as a percentage how strategic you are as a marketer in all those areas: building strategy, mindset, buy-in, loads of different areas. And so it's going to really help you with that. Answer the questions honestly. Read the report in detail, like read what it's suggesting that you do next. It will trigger a little sequence for you. I'm going to send you a free masterclass to help you learn the 6 stages of simple strategy. And I'm just going to, you'll be on my list. Like, I'm a marketer, you're a marketer, you'll be on my list. Like, don't take the scorecard if you don't want to be on my list, but I'm a good marketer and an ethical one. So what you get from me will be so valuable. I know this sounds mental, right? But I've had people on my list for like 3 years who've never bought anything from me. And I want you to buy from me. Like, obviously, I've built something I think is amazing. I think B2B Breakthrough Academy would change your life like it is the other members. But I also love that funds me being able to help people who are not in the position to join. So you will get a lot of value being on my list. Make sure you like this video if you liked it. Make sure you comment and tell me where you're at. Tell me what's going on for you. Take the scorecard. If you want to learn more about B2B Breakthrough Academy, our next live call is February 10th. But if you're listening in the future, don't worry, they're all the time. So just head to b2bjade.com and hit the Breakthrough Academy page. It's got everything you need to learn. There's even a cool leaders guide on the page that you can download, send your leaders and be like, boss, pay for this. This is what I need. But keep in touch. And I hope you like this format. Like, I'm just sitting at my desk and looking at my notes on the computer because my 2026 strategy is about simplifying things. Like, I just want to press play, chat to you. And I thought I might as well put my camera on so that you can see me as well if you prefer doing things that way. So let me know. And I will see you soon. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.